It's a real thing, you know.
OG, big fish, ayy, ones that you wanna get with. Took a couple L's, rung a couple bells. Real Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Oh, it's Friday, we feeling good, baby. Me and the guys ain't never been losers. See a nice little thing. We feeling good. Got a great show for y'all today. Bigger than a service. As you're joining, please make sure that you like. That's going to help boost the algorithm. Y'all know what our goal is, to get as many different perspectives in this room so we can have a safe space for conversation. Tell exactly what your thoughts are so that we can grow. All right, we got to be vulnerable from that aspect. All right, got my brother Boog in the building, got big bro Doug in the building. Let's have a great show. Got the bro Ant in the building. It's Friday, baby. Let me get right. OG, big fish, hey. Oh, they got me going on a Friday. Real ones, too legit for Coitel. Straight shooters, all troopers. Me and the guys ain't never been losers. See a nice little thing, we pursue her. See a nice little thing, we pursue her. Yeah. Hey, OG, big fish, hey, OG. Please like while you're joining. Big fish, OG, big fish, hey, OG, big fish. Maya made me some coffee. Life is amazing. Yeah, and 13K off rip. You feel me? You feel us? Yo, life is amazing, man. That's the energy that we on today on a Friday. Life is amazing. I was watching this Cat Williams interview. I'm going to play a little bit of it later with Theo Von. And perspective really determines a lot. I'm learning more and more. Each day, perspective determines a lot. How did you wake up feeling today? Did you wake up complaining? It's cold. I got to go to work. I got to do all these things. Think about your perspective when you woke up and think about how that's going to impact the things that you manifest throughout the rest of the day. So we got a packed show for y'all today. Like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about Cat Williams, Theo Von, cool little interview. Cat Williams was high the whole interview. Yo, I don't know how he does it, man. He went from smoking weed to smoking menthol cigarettes. Like it was a very interesting show. But definitely a couple things that I got a couple timestamps for us to talk about that. We got a bunch of icebreakers. Actually, this show is going to be more like the show on Wednesday, where we're going to go through a lot. We got Tiffany Henyard updates. That's the mayor. What is it? Darden. I forget the exact city. Tiffany Henyard. She was involved in a little brawl at the. Hold on. Let me clean off my glasses. Yeah, she was involved in a little brawl or something at one of the meetings. I guess she was getting disrespected by, how the community gets the mic. And dude was going off. He was being a little rude. I can't even front. He was being rude. And I guess Tiffany Henyard's boyfriend addressed it. And they started to get their little squabble on. I got a question for y'all. So I have a question about NIL money and players getting paid in college. My thoughts on it are all over the place. I want to get your guys' opinions on it. And I think it factors into a lot of the DEI conversations that we have. And speaking of the DEI conversations that we have, we got a little clip from Dr. Umar. He's going to touch on that. We got some information on some of these Senate hearings, some of the stuff that we're hearing, or I guess these confirmations, I should say, with some of Trump's appointees. We're going to maybe cover a little bit about that. We got a couple clips to show. His press secretary is applying pressure. Let's actually do it a little different today. So we're going to start off with the clip that I wanted to show y'all of Cat Williams. So we'll start off with that. Then we'll get into the rest of the conversation. So let me get to this timestamp for you guys. I'm going to go a little bit before so you guys can get a little bit of context on the conversation. And like always, give us your opinion. And hold up, let me catch up with the chat today. Make sure that I'm not losing y'all today. All right, so Ant wrote, perspective is everything. To manifest for tomorrow, you have to be present today. Oh, yo, matter of fact, you just reminded me, Ant. Where's my eyeglass cleaner? You just reminded me. Yo, while I have y'all here, yeah, we need a show. We need a Zoom show. We really do need a Zoom show. I was talking to a few people over the week about it, and I'm like, yo, I got all these bros on here, all the homegirls. Why don't we have a Zoom show that is, and get this, for all those that may be saying, well, I don't want to get on camera. I'm a little nervous. I don't want to say certain things. Just a more casual show. More casual show where a bunch of us, we cam up, we have a little bit of fun. We're discussing the culture, sports, politics, all of that, but it's more of a light conversation. I promise y'all it's going to be a light conversation. I'm not going to be aggressive or anything like that. So y'all ain't got to worry about that. Not that y'all were, but yeah, just a more chill combo. I think it'll be dope. I think it'll be dope because I think there's a lot of insight, and it's hard for you guys when you're just commenting to give your thoughts clearly because it's just a comment. So we need to get that going. We need to get that going. I've been telling y'all for a minute, we need to get Ant on. We definitely need Uncle Brother on. So maybe that's something that we can get into and discuss for the very, very near future. And Ant said, say when. This is what I'm thinking, Ant. Maybe on the Wednesday night show. Maybe on the Wednesday night show. Either move it to 8 or move it to, keep it at 9. I don't know. You guys tell me. But let's get into this Cat Williams. You guys tell me what your thoughts are, and then we'll touch on the show, the Zoom show, a little bit later on.
Yeah, sometimes I think about what it would be like if I were like another ethnicity, you know? You ever...
Why is the volume not playing? All right, hold on. Give me a second.
Imagine like that, like if you was an Asian guy.
Hold up, brother, hold up. Is that just me? Can y'all hear me?
If you could handle it.
Huh? A little louder, please. Hold on one second. Let me make sure. Oh, it is? For the Cat Williams? Oh, it wasn't playing on my end. All right, so I'll let it play on you guys. Wait, what the heck? Why isn't it playing on my end? Hold on one second. Hold up.
No,
what the heck is going on? Hold on one second. All right, so if y'all can hear it, I'm just gonna play it. I'm just gonna have to play it from Maya, come out here and bring your phone so I can hear it. All right, we're gonna rock out.
You ever had dreams like that where you're Asian?
I'm not sure if you have those when you're black. Like,
press live, bub. Come on now.
I'm saying I was born black, so I was born a superior being, a superb specimen, if you will, as far as human creations are concerned. So I never wanted to be anything other than that. I wanted to know how other people felt. So I didn't.
But you never thought I want to be that.
No.
Yeah.
No. But maybe some of that is because I didn't think that was possible. Yeah, I didn't see it from a negative perspective. I saw it.
All right, so it's a little bit hard on my end. I'm gonna be totally honest with y'all to hear. I don't know what's going on with this. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna change something very quickly if I can. But the reason why I wanted to have that conversation is because what did we talk about earlier? We talked about the importance of perspective. And I think the question that Theo Von, like I said, I couldn't really. Hold up. I can't hear you. You should be able to now, no? All right, you guys should be able to. Can you hear me? All right, I think you can. All right, so the reason why I wanted to bring that up, and let me make sure that now I can hear it on my end. My apologies. I don't. It's always something. It's always something. Hold on 1 second. This is what we're gonna do. I'm good. I'm good. All right, so I'm good. You guys good to hear me? Oh, come on. All right, my apologies about that. My apologies. The reason why I wanted to play that part of the Cat Williams is because he was asked, I believe, whether or not he ever thought about being any other race. And if you heard his response, he said, well, you know, being that I was born a black person, a superb being. Now, hearing Cat Williams say it, it is funny. But what did we start off by saying on the show? Perspective. Perspective. Perspective is going to tell us a lot about ourselves. It's going to show how we think about ourselves, and it's going to tell us a story and highlight our culture in a lot of ways. And when you have a mindset that I'm a superior being, not to say that you're, oh, I'm better than everybody else. I don't think that that's the energy that he was coming with. But I do think that it's important for us to adopt that mindset from a not a superior over everybody else, but we all have these godly qualities. We have this godly potential. And it almost, I'm thinking about as I'm talking to you guys, I was when I put up on a post yesterday, and I was like, think about it. We are very, very unique creatures. The things that separate us from animals, we have this spiritual connection. We have, and you could say that animals have it as well, but it's just a different connection that humans have, I believe. We have the ability to go as to the lowest of lows from an animalistic standpoint and tap into those animalistic qualities. And we see a lot of those animalistic qualities that happen in society right now. Animalistic qualities. What do I mean by that? I mean, when we think about war, y'all know how I feel about war by now. For the people that are just tapping in today, I'm not for war. I mean, show me a war that was justified from a standpoint of helping humanity. I get that you can show me a war where there's certain spoils that came from that war, or there was certain land that was conquered. But in all actuality, I just see the wars just leading to more wars and eventually getting us to the position where God's going to flood the planet again. Or there's going to be something that happens within humanity, and then they're telling stories thousands of years down the line where it's like the world was so evil, where everybody was fighting each other. Everybody, survival of the fittest mentality, or when you're in survivor mode, think about it from that standpoint. When you're in this survivor mode where it's just you're willing to do anything to that person in order to benefit yourself, that's not necessarily us elevating humanity. To me, that's not tapping into our godly qualities. It's justifying why I should kill somebody for my own benefit. Think about it from that standpoint. So that's how I feel about war in general. So when I say that we have the ability to get to the lowest of lows when it comes to our animalistic tendencies, we also have the ability to tap into the highest of frequencies. The highest of frequencies on a spiritual plane, to where we're connected and understanding that everything in this world is connected to each other. And when we understand that, it allows us to look at the world differently. If I understood that the violence that I put out or the good that I put out is going to directly impact the rest of the world and possibly come back to me, if I really understood that and embraced that, why would I ever put out negative into the world? Why would I ever wish harm on somebody else in the world? We're all in this thing together. So I understand that that's speaking from a very idealistic standpoint, but imagine if more and more people embrace that mindset. Imagine if that was the type of energy to go viral, where if it was an energy that was simply put, what is the golden rule? Treat others the way that we want to be treated. Why do we think that that's the golden rule? It's all about energy. It's all about putting out a certain amount of positive energy and expecting that to come back. And even if you're not expecting it to come back, you just know by putting that out into the world, you're creating a better world. You're making the world a better place, a safer place, all these things that we claim that we want. The animalistic nature, that's the survivor mode. That's when we have so much fear. And think about how what we talk about all the time as far as what our government wants, as far as what these powerful big pharma companies want. They want us fearful, they want us ignorant, and they want us unhealthy. Why? Because they know that the more vulnerable we are, the more control that they have. But the more that we realize and hold ourselves to a higher standard, as what Cat Williams is referencing, the more we really understand and embrace that we are superb beings, that the actions that we put out as humans contribute to the rest of the world more than anything else. But then it gets back to that question of, are we nature? And I know I think we were having the conversation about it a couple weeks ago, where I never looked at us as being nature. I mean, you can go back to the Lion King, and when Mufasa's given the whole circle of life, we could tap into that. But I never looked at us humans as far as that as nature. You look at animals, plants, all these different things. You look at those as being a part of nature, but we never look at ourselves as nature. We are the highest, most capable contributors to nature, to the planet, and we can't deny that connection. So I don't know about y'all. Maybe this is more of a conspiracy theory, but even when I hear about all the things that happen crazy throughout the world, or with the weather, I directly attribute that to us. And I know that depending on what religion that you believe, or that I guess when you think about Noah's Ark, we can think that God flooded the planet. Maybe that was just our terrible energy and nature, because we're connected with that, because it was so chaotic, or because we were living with such evil intentions. Maybe that's the reason why the planet flooded, because it was directly a reflection of our energy and the energy that we're putting out. So that's just my little story when it comes to that. Let's get to the next. There was one other part of the Cat Williams interview that I wanted to get y'all thoughts on. We'll move on to that, and then we got a bunch of other videos to cover for today. Let me make sure that I'm keeping up with your comments. Hold on one second. All right, we got Uncle Brother, a Zoom show. We need you in the building. And this is the thing. Like, everybody likes talking about this stuff, but nobody wants to be embarrassed by this stuff. And I know that, I'm not speaking to Uncle Brother when I say this, but for all the people that would be a little bit hesitant to maybe jump on, like, I think that we have to get back to feeling okay about sharing our thoughts, sharing our perspectives, sharing our ideas. We have such limited ways of thinking, or maybe we're limited by the amount of voices that express their opinions. And what do I mean by that? If we only have certain individuals that are okay with standing out there and voicing their opinions and voicing their thoughts, then we're only going to have a limited scope, rather than having a wide range of perspective. It's almost like when we talk about learning different people, like, we all fear the unknown, right? So the more that we learn about this culture, the more we learn about that culture, the more we have friends that come from this background, it allows us to learn more about them, appreciate different things from their perspective. And to me, it allows us to give each other a lot more grace. And then we're less easy. It makes it very hard for the powers that be that are looking to divide us and profit on us disliking each other to do so. So that's kind of my mindset on it. Shout out to Melissa. What's up, Melissa? Grand Rising, brothers and sisters. Good to have you in the building. Jerry B, amen, amen. Appreciate that. Shelly said hello from NYC. Uncle Brother said war has one purpose, and that's to profit the bomb makers. Think about it. Why are we okay with war? It is 2025. Why are we okay? Like, what justification could we have from the war going on between Russia and Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, different things that are happening in the Congo? What's the justification? Land that we know that, I mean, who can really have a claim to it? Like, so many different people can claim ownership to something. It's like, that's what we're really fighting over. When I used to hear stories about the Native Americans. And I don't even, now that we got to actually remind ourselves about this, but think about when we were growing up in school, the stories that we used to hear about Native Americans, where they believed that you can't own land, that the land is just for everybody. It's natural resources that should be shared. And think about how we think about it now. So it's almost as if our thought process, if we become more and more advanced from a technological standpoint and more advanced in a lot of aspects of life, it's almost like as we advance more in those areas, we get away from our spiritual advancements. We get away from our connection to each other. We get away from understanding the frequencies that we put out. And the more and more numb we become of those things, the more we can lean into the other stuff and be okay and justify certain things, like people dying, like kids dying, like women dying, like all the horrible things that come with war. We justify them because we do not have a connection to one another, because we've lost that spiritual touch. So I didn't mean to come on here and start preaching, but that's just how I see things. iRock, shout out to iRock in the building. iRock, we miss you. What's up, Josh? Showing love from Temple, Texas. Good to have you here. Please, everybody, make sure that you do like. That's going to help get as many different perspectives in the room, as we always say. So iRock said we have to evolve, level up as human beings. That's the thing. Why are we not putting pressure on us to just level up? I understand, and maybe I'm guilty of it too. Maybe I'm guilty of it too. And what am I guilty of? Maybe I'm guilty of prioritizing and coming on here and talking to y'all and saying, well, I don't want my dollars going to Russia, Ukraine. I don't want my dollars going to between Israel and Palestine. I don't want my dollars going to. Maybe I should be saying it in a different way. Maybe if I'm going to say I don't want my dollars, I do not want to support war. I do not want to support people being killed. I do not want to support people getting wiped off the planet, like a certain group of people. I do not want to support any of these things because they're just not right. It's not necessarily, and I know I know I'm guilty of it too, of coming on here and prioritizing the money aspect. Well, I don't want to just send my money. No, I just don't want to contribute to war and justify it. And when we think about the military industrial complex, I think Uncle Brother said it earlier, at least alluded to it. Well, he said it. War has one purpose, and that's to profit the bomb makers. The people that are in power are scared to death to lose power. They only feel that they feel that they can have power in a few different ways. Probably the two biggest ways are influence and money. And obviously they go hand in hand. So when they're making decisions about contributing money, and we're signing checks off to Ukraine, and it's getting reported as, oh, we're sending off this amount of money to Ukraine, that money is never leaving the country. That is a check that goes out and comes back directly to the military, to our industrial war complex, or whoever's making the bombs, like Uncle Brother said, who's ever making the weapons. That is coming right back to us. That is why when our government officials and these politicians, when they leave office, they get these positions consulting for this company, on the board with this company, is because they're making deals. They're making deals that in our minds, they send out money to Ukraine, but in all actuality, they're just making a sale for this company that makes weapons for the United States. So if I'm one of your biggest salespersons, of course you're going to treat me well after I get out of office, or you're going to treat my family well while I'm still in office. Maybe that's what's going on, or was what was going on when it comes to Hunter Biden. I don't know. All right, so Maya wrote, they are all fights over resources, oil, metals, etc. If I agree completely, we're fighting over resources, and it's like the people. It's like always the people that are on the front line doing the fighting. We're not even the ones that really own the resources, or it's that small percentage of people. And this, maybe things need to go back. You know what I would respect? What I would respect is going back to, you remember the beginning of Troy, when Achilles is talking to Agamemnon, and he says, imagine a king that will fight his own wars. Imagine a king that will fight his own wars. This is, matter of fact, somebody said this, I don't know whether it was Trump. A matter of fact, I think it was Trump when he was talking about Liz Cheney a couple months ago. And Liz Cheney, you got these war hawks, these people that are just obsessed with going to war, that are okay with just sending our young men and women over to get killed overseas in wars that don't even have anything to really do with us. But even if they do, they're just so quick to, oh yeah, we'll go to war with them. We'll go to war with them because their lives are not impacted. Matter of fact, they're only going to make more money. And Trump said something like, imagine if the gun was turned on her. Maybe that's how a lot of our leaders should be thinking, or if they were in that position to actually suffer, just like the troops that frontline a lot of these fights, maybe we would look at it a little bit differently, and even better, maybe they would look at it a little differently. When you're actually in the fight, you think a lot differently about it than when you're sitting up in the White House or sitting up in whatever office that you're in and just running plays like you're playing a video game. It's different. So that would be maybe a cool little suggestion. Shout out to Mama Lay in the building. Happy Friday, great people. Y'all please make sure that y'all are liking. All right, so let's get to this next clip with Kat. I think we're at 5207. Let's hear what Kat had to say. Hold on, let me make sure that I got it shared for y'all. Oh, this is a good one. Oh, this is a good clip. Hold up, this is a good clip.
You know,
If we try and just focus on telling ourselves the facts.
yeah, of how good we're doing. Like, we're much too hard on ourselves.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know?
I feel that all the time, man.
Yeah,
I feel like I don't know any other way to be almost sometimes. Like not in a bad way, but yeah, I feel like it's this constant sentence. You know, like you gotta. I feel like there's always been this to-do list that I don't even make, and it's just
Right.
always been there. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah.
That's how I feel all the time.
Right.
Like, whew, I got to do. You know, still have to prove it. You know, a constant of approving.
All winners have that disease.
How many of y'all feel this way? How many of y'all feel this way that y'all got a to-do list that you never get to? And Cat Williams responds and says, that's what all winners feel like. And I'm going to take it a step further and say, it's a certain type of winner. And as a matter of fact, I shouldn't even say it's a type of winner. No, I 100% agree with Cat, but I just want to dive into it a little bit deeper. When you want to do great things and you have audacious goals, it comes with a certain, it comes with pros, obviously, but it comes with a lot of cons. And this is why people that strive for success, a lot of them are looked at as like maniacs. When you think about like a Michael Jordan, when you think about a Tom Brady would get to the point where it's like, yo, is he even enjoying this? And it's because he's so obsessed. It's because he's so passionate. It's because he wants to achieve so much. And I think just relating it to us in our day to day, a lot of times we got to find that balance of understanding that there's a lot more that we want to accomplish. But what Kat was alluding to in the beginning with saying that, hey, certain times we got to just sit back and realize like, hey, there's a lot of things that we are already accomplishing. There's a lot of things that we have accomplished. We can't, and it's that fine balance. It's that balance, because if we get too caught up in the things that we've already done, if we get too caught up in the things that we're doing right now and don't have these goals, maybe we will never maximize our potential. But perhaps, and I don't know what the answer is, and I'm gonna be totally honest with y'all, I'm gonna lean to be more maniacal. I'm gonna be leaning in the direction of being a maniac. I'm gonna lean in the direction of perhaps sacrificing some happiness and acknowledging that I'm sacrificing this happiness in order to better accomplish this goal. But that doesn't mean that that's the only way to achieve things. That may also have a ceiling on it. This goes back to what we talked about when I said like my goal for this year. It's like where the flow meets the pressure. Like I want to make sure that I'm going with the flow, that I'm going with the energy. You guys ever had the type of day or think about when you're playing sports where you're in your zone and things just start to feel effortless, where it's like just effortless. Everything's just clicking. Everything's just going your way. And it almost feels like, well, it does feel like you're doing less work. You're giving less effort, but getting better results. That's where I want to be in. I want to be in that flow, but then just add some pressure to it. Add some pressure to it. So I just think that it's important for us. And I think a lot of us that are going through it, especially in this day and age when we have social media, when we have Instagram, where we're constantly comparing our lives to other people, it's very important for us to remind ourselves of that balance where it's like, okay, I understand what everybody's presenting on Instagram. I understand that I have amazing goals that I want to accomplish. I want the big house. I want the nice car. Matter of fact, give me 2 of those homes. I want all of these things, especially because they're constantly in front of me when I'm swiping through my phone. However, I also have to acknowledge and be present in what's now and appreciate what's now. I can never get to the point where, because I just want all these other things in the future, that I'm not truly appreciating the things that I have now. And even when you think about it from a manifestation standpoint, it's almost as if we truly appreciate the things that we have now, then maybe that'll be putting ourselves in the best position to get more of that by enjoying those things and having positive thoughts. And I don't know if you guys are into manifestation, but it's like the more we program our mind with positive thoughts, our brains can't decipher between, like, if I say I hate something, then my brain is just fixated on that something. My brain can't say, oh, he said he hates it, so he dislikes it. No, my brain is just focused on the fact that that's what I'm thinking about. So therefore, I may be inviting the energy that I'm constantly focused on by saying I hate it, but I'm inviting more of those things to happen, instead of just focusing on the things that are positive in my life, focusing on the fact that I'm appreciating the journey as I get to those goals that I want to strive for. So just maybe a little trick, I don't know, just some certain things that I implement or try to implement in my life. Maybe you guys do the same. So I just thought that was an interesting clip. All right, so let me make sure that I'm keeping up with the chat. So Cuzzo in the building, he said me. I already know you on the same energy. I already know. Jerry B wrote, Theo and Kat both have such unique ways of thinking and they complement each other perfectly. That's a very I think that's probably, I don't know if you could have a better description. Unique ways of thinking. And when I listen to Kat and when I listen to a guy like Theo, it really sounds like Cat Williams enjoys life. It sounds like Theo Von enjoys life. And this is the type of balance where, do I want to go down this path? But even, I'll give you just a personal struggle. So one of my personal struggles is being able to relax a bit, being able to have a certain amount of balance where, and when you're a more likable person and people enjoy being around you, compared to if you're the type of person that people feel like they always have to be on their best behavior around you. I told y'all, I think I told y'all that my brother told me that. And he's like, yo, sometimes, feel like I gotta, be a certain way, or that you're looking at me funny, or, that type of thing. And what you realize is that when you could just show maybe some of your vulnerabilities, show some of the areas, some of your vices, some of the things that you may do that are unhealthy. Maybe I may sit back and have a stogie on the show, smoke a cigar or something like that. And people are like, yo, he smokes cigars. I thought he was supposed to be healthy and in shape. Yeah, well, sometimes you know what I mean? Like it take me a year to smoke one cigar. Like literally, I've had this cigar sitting here since this has been the same cigar that I was smoking before New Year's. But every once in a while, I tote that cigar, you know what I mean? But just different things, because it allows other people to feel okay about, but then it's like, this still goes back to that balance, because you never want to excuse it to the point where people are just like, yo, I could just do whatever around this person. Like, there should be standards. It just goes back to that balance. It really does. Just being able to have a certain amount of balance. That's, and I'm just speaking from my perspective. This is just my opinion, to each their own. You guys tell me how you guys feel. So Cousin wrote, you think it and it shall be. 100%. I'm with you. Flat Earth Patriot. I agree 100%. Keep preaching. Flat Earth, huh? I'm not opposed to it. Break it down for us. Break it down for us. Who thinks that who's the popular guy I was just listening to? I think Lord Jamar. I think he's a flat earth guy, flat earth patriot. Maybe he would describe himself as the same. So Ant wrote, that's why I said what I said earlier, manifesting for tomorrow, meaning being present and appreciating what we have, truly appreciating, not thinking about what it could be, but what it is. And this is something that a buddy of mine, I remember being at my little bro BW's. He had a weekend. He had like I don't know what we call them, celebrity weekends, where you got the camp and then you invite all you invite some of your teammates and whatnot, and it's a good family community outing for the weekend. And I remember, what's the guy named Tony Mont? Matter of fact, Mont, you may have been there. Where I remember we were sitting by the pool at the hotel, and it was a few people. It was a few people over there, and Tony Carter used to play cornerback, light-skinned dude. I forget. Is he from Florida? I forget. And people were saying like, yo, we got to go to the club, so we got to get dressed soon. And he told me something that always stuck with me. He said, never rush where you're enjoying yourself right now for expectations of enjoying yourself later. He said, never rush to leave what you're enjoying right now for expectations of what you may or may not enjoy later. And that just always stuck with me, because it's like, yo, think about our lives. All the time, we're always looking for, oh, yeah, wait until I get into that position, or wait till I get that. And then once you get there, you're still not going to enjoy it, because then you just move the goalposts and now you got a new goal. So you're never truly enjoying and appreciating the little wins that you get along the way. And I shouldn't say little wins, but the big wins that you get along the way. You're never appreciating those things. So therefore, it's almost like you're telling your mind like, oh, I don't want these things. So I believe that's what you're saying, Ant, and I 100% agree. So Ant wrote, I'd love to share my theory on why people burn themselves out when it comes to manifesting when we Zoom meet up, bro. That'll be dope. That'll be dope. Jerry B wrote, right. I'm a couple minutes behind, so let me try to catch up. iRock wrote, manifestation is the key, 100%. Keep an attitude of gratitude. I really like that. Shout out to Bez in the building. Nasir Abdullah wrote, woo-wee, actionless, action. Ant wrote, hot take, stop trying to force the balance in life and trust your mind, spirit, and body will tell you what and where you need to be presently. If you must balance anything, it's attention to those three. Whew. All right, Ant. So I like that for a few different reasons. And when I hear you saying it, it's like, you're right. Sometimes we're forcing balance. So let's say that we're always forcing balance, and balance can come in different ways. And I'll move on from it after this. But balance can be either I'm always going to just be, this way. Like, let's say the scale is, I'm always going to just be even keel the whole way. Sometimes balance is being up here today and then moving over here. I don't know. Maybe balance is the flow. I don't really know. But yeah, just some thoughts out there. Lord Jamar is a beast. Boogie wrote, major facts. Ant wrote, if you're enjoying now, you are present. Watch how kids play. They are only present in that moment. Emulate that in everything you do. Be present. That's why we need to watch more Disney movies. Mama Lay wrote, that's beautiful truth. Enjoy the moment you're in. All right. I'm 100% loving the things that y'all are saying. James Clark, shout out to James Clark. We got a bunch of new people in the building. Shout out to y'all for tapping in. We definitely appreciate it. You say you don't want to support these wars. Let me ask, are you still sending them your tax money? James, you may have missed it. Or I don't know. You may be a little bit confused, but I don't write a check to send my tax dollars to the wars. And I think you may have missed earlier where I was saying that I do not want my tax dollars. Getting the call. I was saying earlier that I don't want my tax dollars going to support these causes. So unfortunately, the only thing that we can do on our end is vote for a candidate that we believe will not be sending our tax dollars to support these wars. So to answer your question, let me ask, are you still sending them your tax money? Do you mean me personally, or do you mean whoever's president at the time sending our tax dollars? And I think that's one of the reasons why we've complained about the previous administration. And one of the things that I, for one, embraced when it came to Trump is because I think that Trump can Trump is in the best position to end a lot of these conflicts and to put America first, just from that standpoint. So he may be doing it just selfishly. I'm not saying that Trump has the same opinion on war that we have, where it's just like, we don't want war, it's not good. Maybe he does. Maybe the businessman in him is also aligned with that. Or maybe it's just him saying, like, shoot, I just don't want my money going. I don't want American citizens and their tax dollars going to these wars. Maybe that's it. I don't know. But for me, it's not just about the money. And that's something that I was highlighting earlier, James, where I acknowledge that even I do it, to where I get on the show and I'll say, I don't want my tax dollars going to this. I don't want my tax going to, as if it's just the money. It's not just the money for me. It's the fact that I don't want my money or to be supportive of war, period, because I think it's just the most evil thing that we do. It's the lowest. That when we started off the show earlier, that's the lowest of our animalistic nature, to kill other people. Think about that. That is when we are at our lowest point in humanity, and we justify it. We justify it. You know, it's in some of our religious books. So when you think about it from that standpoint, how can we, and I get it may be in the Old Testament, all these things, but how can it be justified in our religious books? But then we have, you know, also one of the 10 commandments is thou shalt not kill, right? So perhaps there's some contradictions there. You know, I don't know. I don't want to, you know, offend anybody in their religious perspective, but I'm just giving y'all my opinion. I don't need to read a book to convince me that killing people is wrong. It just naturally feels that way. And getting back to what Ant said, which is when he said, study the kids, see how the kids just live in the moment. Kids don't naturally hate each other. Kids naturally want to play with each other. That is learned behavior. Learned behavior. And I think we're going to actually, to kind of shift the point a little bit, to talk about learned behavior. We can learn from a lot of our kids. And I think that a lot of the things that we think that we're developing over time, we think that we're growing over time. We think that our kids are the most vulnerable and they're the most least intelligent. Maybe we should study how our kids act on the playground when they meet somebody that looks totally different than them, but they still want to hang out, still want to play with them, not judging them about anything. Matter of fact, they may even be curious to learn about, hey, what are things in your culture? They're more curious rather than fearful. The older we get, and this reminds me of even when it comes to COVID. I did not know this, and I think we have a video on it later, where they said that no child, I think RFK Jr. said it. He said no healthy child died from COVID. Think about that. He said no healthy child died from COVID. And I know your point. Let me take this down, James, because I know that's a little bit different than your point. But when we talk about the development from our early stages to when we become adults, we would think that our kids are more vulnerable than us, right? How is it that, like, isn't that just something that's on your mind? Like, how is it that no healthy child died from COVID, but we had all of these adults dying from COVID? To me, that shows us once again that we're not developing right from a health standpoint. So we're not developing from a spiritual standpoint. We're not developing from a health standpoint. And then we wonder why a lot of times the older we get, the more stubborn we get, the more stuck in our ways we are, the more the harder we get. And maybe it's just that the world and society, depending on the culture that we live in, maybe we have that to blame, and maybe that we should shine a light on that and take some accountability in going a different direction, in becoming healthier beings, into becoming more spiritual beings, using our imagination like we used to as kids. Because as kids, we always used to manifest. We always used to daydream and imagine and have all these amazing goals and big dreams. Maybe we should get back to that. I remember reading a quote where they said that Einstein was asked, you know, how, and I don't even know if it's one of these things that, well, Einstein supposedly said this. Who knows if it's true? I just like the message. But they asked Einstein what he could do, what they should do to develop their children. And he said, I would have my kids watch more Disney movies, more Disney movies. And it, to me, it really, I think we were having this conversation at the men's retreat over this weekend where Peter Pan, like, do y'all realize what Peter Pan was telling us? If you think positive thoughts, you can fly. Like, that entire concept was built on like manifestation, the exchange of energy. If you think positive thoughts, we flourish, we elevate by moving with a positive energy and a positive frequency. We elevate society. Think about these things. Think about these things. So a lot of times we'll just, that's just a movie, or that's just a cartoon. Is it? I don't know. Leslie wrote, James, are you asking if he's paying taxes? Yeah, I'm like, well, I didn't really catch that one, James. You gotta clarify for me. Alexander Brewer said, not to be a stickler, but the commandment is thou shalt not murder, which is unjustified killing. Killing in all of itself is not a sin. Murdering is, which is killing without justification. But let me ask you this, Alexander Brewer. That may be 100% true. Have you read the book of Enoch? So something interesting about the book of Enoch, which was removed from the Bible, is that they were talking about this group called the Watchers. And it was supposed to be these godly beings, these giants. And this was when, this is which time period was this? I'm trying to make sure that I get my story together. But pretty much, let me give y'all just a little context around it. But these giants were supposed to look after humanity. But instead, they came down. They came down and they were called like the angels, whatever, a few different names. They came down, and the reason why, and this is during the time, matter of fact, Enoch is Noah's great grandfather. I believe Enoch is Noah's great grandfather. So hear me out on this. The reason why God decided to flood the planet, read that book of Enoch, because that, from my understanding, details a lot of these things, but it was removed from the Bible. And it was showing that these watchers, they came down, and it said that their sins were having sex with the human women, but also that their sin was eating animals. Eating animals. And I always thought about that. And I posted that on my story before. Like, when I read it, I'm like, hold on. Is this telling us all that we need to be vegans? Is this telling us all? Because that was something that I always thought about when he says, thou shalt not kill. So you're saying that, or thou shalt not murder, which is unjustified killing. Let me ask you this, Alexander. What's justified murder? What's justified murder? And see, this is why religion can be so dangerous, because it's all up to your individual perception. What's justified murder? You did something to me, so therefore I should murder you. Like, who gets to say whether or not it's justified? Me? You? God? I don't know. Who gets to say whether or not it's justified? There's a lot of things that we justify in our life. There's a lot of things that people may do to you that they justified for whatever reason. But does that mean that you're justifying it? Like, who gets to decide whether or not it's justified? The person that's getting killed or the person that's doing the killing? I'm just, so these are the type of things that go into play where it's like, this is why maybe we'd be better off to just have a rule. You can't kill. You can't murder. Forget all the semantics and the particulars of unjustified and that. What's justified? A lot of people are saying that what's going on between Israel and Palestine, it's justified. A lot of people say what's going on between Ukraine and Russia was justified. A lot of people say what Christopher Columbus came here and did, the man that we celebrate in this country, what he did to the natives and our indigenous folks was justified. What does justified even mean? That would be my question. Bez wrote, wars are also started off of beliefs. The Christians have been some of the biggest murderers throughout history, killing those who don't believe what they believe. That's a fact, bro. That's what I'm saying. That's why religion can be so dangerous, because think about what religion is. Religion is simply influence. Religion is simply influence. That's what can make it so dangerous, because people get behind it. It's no different than getting behind your favorite influencer on TikTok or Jim Jones leading people to take poison and kill themselves. Influence has a lot of potential danger. And when you have people that follow a religion and they follow it based on, this is who I give credit for creating all of this, and this is who I need to follow in order to make sure that I can live eternally in the afterlife in heaven or wherever you believe that you're going to go, I'm going to justify these things. Christians were running around in the name of Christianity. Matter of fact, wasn't Manifest Destiny, like, wasn't that built around, like, wasn't and Maya, I think it's that if you look at that show Shogun, wasn't it pretty much that Christians were able to take over any land if the people in that land were not practicing Christianity? That's what Muslims did when the Arabs came through Africa. So religion has always been used to justify killings. Now, is it murder? Is it killing? Like, you tell me, Alexander, is it justified? If these people don't believe what I believe, is it okay for me to kill them? I don't know. You tell me. IROC wrote, justification is perspective, though. 100%. Self-defense, justified murder. I'll be totally honest. If even in a self-defense situation, I'm going to defend myself. Let's say that I'm in a situation where I have to defend myself and I have to take it there all the way in order to protect myself. I don't feel good about it. I could tell myself that it's justified. I could tell myself that, oh, well, by law, that this is okay. I mean, if that's the case, and think about this, different states have different laws when it comes to self-defense. If I'm in Florida, okay, it's justified because I can stand your ground. But if I'm in New York, it's not just, you get what I'm saying? This is just all man creating these rules based on our perception. And like IROC just wrote, justification is all perspective, though. So I don't think that as humans, we are responsible enough to use individual perspective, especially based on our current culture and society, because let's just be honest, we all look out for ourselves first and foremost over everybody else. So that justification is always going to come from a selfish perspective of what's best for me in that moment. So that would be my thoughts on it. Shouldn't the question be what's justified killing? I agree. Religion was the politics before politics. That's real. Catholic Church is the reason for our secrets. I believe that. Mama Lay wrote, Wizard of Oz is another example like Peter Pan. 100%. I agree. Bez wrote, the Bible justifies murder. The Quran justifies murder. People believe it's God's words, just like one believes they can create and manifest their lives. People's beliefs, bro. I'm with you. And this is why it's so important for us to be able to have just open conversation, because to be totally honest, just having a lot of these conversations with different people, imagine having this conversation that we're having right now with different individuals, especially when you bring up religion. I remember Malcolm X towards the when he split with the Nation of Islam, he went on his pilgrimage to Mecca and he came back and he was working with a lot of the other civil rights leaders that he used to not want to work with and used to, talk about calling them Uncle Toms or whatever. And he said that we can't talk about religion because religion is it's too toxic to the point where it's just going to create so much separation rather than us understanding that, like, it's almost like we can, once you put religion into the conversation, we could agree on 99% of things, but that 1% that we disagree, just because it's principled and we stand on in our religion, we'll throw everything else away. So to me, yes, religion can be very dangerous. It goes back to the balance. This is why I've been like, if you caught me maybe 10 years ago, if you caught me 8 years ago, I was definitely just opposed completely to religion. Now I'm in a little bit of a different place because I do understand that people need rules, or that currently we need rules, or maybe, I don't know, are the rules just, let me ask y'all this. Do you believe that our society, the rules that our government puts on us, do you believe that now we're just walking through the world because we're just seeing it as not breaking laws, that we're not seeing it as, oh, well, actually, I just shouldn't be doing this because I'm doing this to my fellow mankind, or I'm doing this to my fellow brother or sister in humanity? Do you think that we're just so, and it's the same thing that I said, like when it becomes very insensitive for me to say, I don't want my tax dollars going to their war. Well, it's not my tax dollars that I should be saying. I just don't want to support a war. You get what I'm saying? So it's just little intricacies, semantics, perhaps, but perhaps those little seeing those things from a different perspective, perhaps they set a huge tone on our outlook and perspective and how we interact with each other. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there. Uncle Brother wrote, if murder is unjustified killing and you kill in self-defense, is that then a justified killing? If murder is unjustified killing and you kill in self-defense, so you're saying that that would not be murder. So self-defense would not be murder. Is that a justified killing? Yeah, that's the question. That's the question. And a lot of these things in life that we answer, it's going to be tough, because if you kill or try to kill me, or if you try to kill mines, then my mindset is going to be in a totally different place, perhaps, than I'm talking to y'all right now with the kumbaya stuff. Just being totally honest. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't talk about it and acknowledge that we perhaps should be moving in that direction a little bit more, so, or a lot more. I don't know. But it's these are the things. This is why humanity's not perfect. This is why we're in a lot of the positions that we're in today. I don't know. Whoo! Open convo is what religion hates. I am 100% with you. 100% with you. Open convo is what religion hates. I 100% agree with you. And yeah, I was going to say most of these religions are saying very similar things, with the exception of maybe like a Buddhism. But Buddhism, I believe that people don't even believe that that's a religion. I believe that most people that believe in Buddhism or practice Buddhism see it as more spirituality than a religion. But I guess that's for everybody's perception. So Uncle Brother wrote, the problem with rules is that people making the rules think the rules are made to be broken. Yeah, there's a lot of things with rules, and our rules just, and this is the thing, if it's almost as if, like, do rules encourage bad behavior, or do they encourage us to see the world? Like, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't imagine, like, let's say if there were no rules, what would that look like? Would it look like a purge? Would it be you know what may end up happening? You know what really may end up happening? And this is not what I'm trying to encourage at all, but I'm just having the convo with y'all. Think about it from this standpoint. If there were no rules, things, I believe, in the short term, would look very purgish. People just out here doing whatever. But would it get to a point where people realize that we can't do this? We can't do this but then I guess it would still be them then deciding to set rules, and then going to war with those people that don't want to follow the rules. I don't know. Should we have a Amsterdam approach? Y'all remember The Wire? Would Amsterdam have certain areas where it's like, yo, y'all, if y'all want to be over there following that way of life, no rules, y'all do y'all thing over there. Over here, this is how we live. It's a tough one. All right, let's get back to we haven't even gotten into a lot of these videos. Let me go on X and show you. All right, we got a funny one. So we're just gonna go through a bunch of these videos. Like I said, it was supposed to be more like the show on Wednesday, where we're just reviewing a bunch of the videos. I think we'll do that now. Let's get to that. So I want to show y'all this video. What y'all think about this? Speaking of tax dollars, since we speaking of tax dollars, I thought this was a funny video. Y'all tell me what y'all thoughts are on it.
Someone literally tried to call me out because I get EBT, but I drive a 2025 Benz.
Dude, what?
It's none of your business what I drive.
You the one telling us.
And if I get EBT. Yes, I get $2,700 in food stamps.
Come again?
And I drive a 2025 Benz. Who cares?
We care. We.
And I'll be pulling out the EBT card from my Louis wallet.
All right, now you playing with people's emotions. Like, come on now.
I'm just here living the life at your expense. Thanks, taxpayers. I just love being lazy. I love living off of others, and that's how I make my living. Food.
At least, I don't want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but at least she know her worth and know what she. And I'm gonna be honest, she probably is well put together because she is living this life, and that's what's wrong with America.
So this is obviously just more of a funny post, but I think that there is something to say about our culture and our society and what a lot of the entitlement and victimhood has caused. Imagine living in this society where, like, y'all tell me if this is the case. I feel like generations ago, people used to not want to accept assistance. People used to say, look down on it. People took pride in being able to handle their handle and buy what they can afford rather than receiving handouts in order to purchase more things that they wouldn't otherwise be able to afford if they weren't receiving a lot of that assistance. I think that we need to give back to a lot of that pride. This was just a funny instance when I think about America. I just think about there's a lot of these type of mindsets, and I think that this is just that victimhood mentality. It's just the victimhood mentality. And this may be her just joking, but let's be real. There's a whole lot of folk out here like this. Whole lot of folk out here like this. Whole lot of folk out here. So, yeah, we're going to move on to the next one. Let me actually catch up with some of these comments because I missed them from the last video. Okay, all right. So Queez wrote, I think we finished with Uncle Brother saying the problem with rules is that people making the rules think the rules are made to be broken. Yeah, we tapped into that. Queez wrote, Queez in the building. Actions have consequences, not sure of no rules at all. Yeah, and like I said, I wasn't saying that, but it's just oh man. Imagine just getting to a place where people could just the golden rule was treating others how you want to be treated. Matter of fact, there was a video that I saw where, all right, so what do y'all think about this? Speaking about rules. So there was a law. There was a law that actions have constant, not sure. So not all right. So there was a law, and I forget exactly where it was, but it was that any crime that you commit against somebody, their punishment has to be at least that crime that was committed against that let's say I commit a crime against somebody else, my punishment would have to be at least what I did to that person. And maybe I'm saying it a little bit wrong because obviously when I'm thinking about certain crimes that are committed, how that would work out. But matter of fact, I was reading it in 48 Laws of Power. I was reading it in 48 Laws of Power. I forget which society they were talking about. But they were saying how the law is that if somebody, let's say that I do something and it was wild. It got to a point where it was like, let's say I build a house. I build houses. If I build a house and somebody dies in that house because the construction was bad or something happened from a building standpoint to where the house collapsed and that person died, my punishment would have to be death. They also said that if I build that house and that person and the man dies in the house, but also their son dies in the house, then my punishment would be I have to die and then my son has to die as well. Extreme, but I think they were saying that significantly discouraged people from doing the wrong things and put a lot of pressure on them to make sure that everything that they were doing at their best. I think that is a little extreme, even as I'm saying it, but do we care more about how extreme the rule is, or do we care more about the result of it? And maybe that's a conversation that we're going to get into when we talk about the NIL money. And get your thoughts on it. So Bez wrote, yeah, Buddhism is not a religion. There's no rules or hierarchy of power in Buddhism. as it is in religion. Yeah, I agree. If you are saving your own life by defending oneself, there's no choice. Yeah. You always got a choice, but the choices that you have, you may not like. That would be the case, because even so, there's situations. Let me give an example in Florida where it's stand your ground. You could have ran from that person. I'll be totally honest. Let's say that I got into an incident in Florida, and instead of running from a situation, I decided to discharge my firearm. Let's say that. In the moment, I may feel justified. But thinking back, like now that I have to live the rest of my life, understanding that what I just did to somebody by discharging my firearm, shooting them, and let's say that they're gone now. I don't want to live with that. I would be thinking the rest of my life, like, yo, bro, maybe you should have just ran. Maybe you should have just ran. And I'm just bringing that up because a lot of times we will say, like, well, I didn't have any other option. That's just more perspective. And especially when you have a law like Florida that allows you to stand your ground, it's allowing you to, you know what I mean? So it's, it just goes back to perspective once again. Make sure that y'all like, and subscribe. We got 23K in the building. Lee's renting the fake wallet. Would the purge work in her favor or against it? I'm wondering. I ain't gonna say that. I'll let you say it. That girl better be joking. There is no pride, cuzzo. There is no pride nowadays. No shame. Now everything is okay. Participation trophy society. Everyone gets a pat on the back. That is a fact. So Shelly Penn wrote, "Eye for an eye." Ugh. You Old Testament with it, Shelly. I hear you. Justine wrote, "Jesus." And think about it like this. Like, a lot of people could say that, well, Jesus had no, let's just look at it with Jesus' story. Let's say that Jesus decided to figure out a way to kill the people that were trying to crucify him. Technically, that would have been justified, right? Based on self-defense. I'm just based on self-defense. So if he decided to do that, and he never died for our sins, like, isn't Jesus supposed to be the person that we look up to the most with the ultimate standards? The person that died for our sins. Isn't that the person that we elevate as being a higher being? So if that's what our higher beings are doing, and if Jesus didn't say, yo, I had no other choice, I had to kill them because they were going to kill me. If his mindset was like, hey, these people are going to kill me, I'm still not going to retaliate. Do what you do. Matter of fact, I'm going to come back. Maybe this is a video game that we're playing where everything is just a test and that we're put in certain positions. Maybe Jesus was just getting tested to say, like, hey, these people are all trying to kill you. We're going to test you to see how you respond. Are you going to resort back, like, from your animalistic nature and try to kill the people that are trying to kill you? Or maybe you are going to be on a higher power, be on a higher frequency, because you understand the impact that may cause, or the war that it may cause, whatever it may cause, if you to kill those people. And instead, he became what? He became the standard of being for all of us, right? A godly, mythical being, right? That's what he became, and that's what he chose. So should we choose the same thing? I'm just asking, especially for y'all Christians. What do y'all think? If Jesus is the ultimate being when it comes to people that call themselves Christians, then shouldn't that be the behavior that is followed? If you call yourself, I've heard this term Christ-like. Isn't that kind of what I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. These are questions that I have. I'm not giving answers. I'm just giving thoughts that come up when we're having this conversation. So please don't hold me to anything other than I'm not telling y'all this is fact. I'm not telling y'all this is the only truth. I'm just asking y'all the questions that come up as we're having these conversations. Bez wrote, there's stuff like that in the Bible. If a man commits adultery with another man's wife, with the wife of his neighbor, both the adulterer and the adulteress are to be put to death. Woo! Well, when it comes to that, yeah, if Shorty cheat on me, she deserved to be put to. Now, let me. I'm just playing. Am I? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Forgiveness is the way. Bez wrote Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10. All right, we got to tap in, bro. Bez, should we read Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10? Uncle Brother wrote, Leslie, Emperor Constantine organized religion for the sole purpose of control. Aunt wrote, on the other side, I would discharge my firearm to protect my kids and never think twice. I understand. I think if I had kids, that's exactly how it would go down, and I would have no problem dealing with the demons that come my way afterwards. I would have no problem if I have to go to sleep every night and think about and be reminded and have those nightmares to save my kid's life. I don't have any kids, but I imagine that I can't imagine myself doing anything other than that. Now, does that mean that that's the best thing to do? I don't know. But I'm just telling y'all what I would do. Maybe I'm capping, but my kids would still be breathing. With them Zam kiddos. God is ruthless. God is ruthless, bro. God is definitely ruthless. Aunt wrote, oh boy, here go Bez. God is ruthless. I'm being honest. I mean, you see the thing God do. God get angry. God flood the planet. Yo, God get angry. He floods the planet. Everybody. I mean, you could say that that it was justified, right? Let me ask y'all this. Was God flooding the planet? Was that justified? Are those justified for all the Christians on here? I'm just asking, or maybe the non-Christians. I'm just asking. Please don't just asking a question. Were those killings or were they murders? I don't know how we describe it, but were they justified to y'all? You tell me. Justine wrote, my fault. Queez wrote, Big Zoo. Shelly wrote, in the country we were talking about, LOL. Oh, hold on, Shelly. I forgot your other comment. Let me see if I can scroll up. Sorry. Oh, eye for an eye. In the country we are talking about. All right, elaborate a little bit for me. Justine wrote, but what exactly even is the term modern? Like you just wake up and be happy, right? But what exactly is the term modern? Like you just wake up and be happy, right? I'm not sure that I'm following Justine, but if you give me a little bit more context, I'll definitely respond. Bez wrote, laughing faces. Ashley wrote, I for sure believe we are all being tested. Everything's a test, yo. Matter of fact, I think, I've told my parents this. I've asked my mom this. I don't know if I've asked my dad, but I really asked my mom this. I'm like, yo, and I've told other people this. Like sometimes I used to really feel like growing up that I was in this video game. And I've told y'all this before, that I was in this video game and every little decision was being tested. That's how I grew up. That's why I used to tell my mother every single word that I said during the day in school. I used to hang on her leg. I can remember it vividly. In pre-K and kindergarten, I used to tell her every word that I said, to the point when I was in school, I would be thinking about how I'm going to recollect the things that I was saying throughout the day and maybe say less just so I could tell my mother everything. Every word that I said in school, I tried to tell my mother. Every word. I tried to recite it back. Justine wrote, of course, because why does he send you fake ass friends that plot? Okay. And think differently and difficult from you. Okay. Queez wrote the ultimate reset. Justine wrote true shit. So I'm just asking. So it's, whose standard are we following? Maybe that's a better question. Because if Bez, which I agreed on when Bez said that the God is ruthless, whose standard are we following? Is if leadership comes from the top down, y'all know we're going to take it back to Remember the Titans when Julius is talking to Bertier. Bertier is talking about Julius being a selfish person, and Julius responds and says, attitude reflects leadership, Captain. Leadership comes from the top down. So let me ask y'all this. If leadership does come from the top down, if things get chaotic at the bottom, then the root of the problem, I guess usually we think about root as scratching below the surface, but the root of the problem actually comes from the top, correct? Because leadership comes from the top down. Leadership is what establishes culture and establishes society and establishes our perspective on a lot of things in life, right? So, wait. If leadership comes from the top down and God is the ultimate creator, and God then decided to ruthlessly flood the planet, or to flood the planet, then that does sound kind of ruthless, where it's like, that's like me being the head of the company, the owner, the CEO, and because I established a terrible culture and in my company and had people maybe doing illegal activity, doing all this illegal stuff to make money, and then I just rat on everybody else to get out of my situation, that's like a little cowardly, right? Now, I'm not calling God a coward. I'm just saying in that situation, right? When you have, let's imagine the head of a gang or the head of the mob, whatever it is. They're the ones that are in control. They're the ones that are calling all these shots. But then when the police come, when you get arrested, you tell on everybody else to get out of their situation. That's kind of cowardly, right? You the one that you're supposed to go down with the ship. Isn't the captain supposed to go down with the ship? The captain is supposed to be the last one that gets off the Titanic, right? So I'm just asking the questions. I'm just asking the questions. All right, I see y'all. Hold on. It's the persistent feeling, Justine. Okay. Cuzzo said my standard. I like that. You know, I like that. God, I'm telling y'all right now, this is what I've adopted for a very long time, and have been working on it for a long time, where I adapt, like, I'm setting my own principles, values, morals, my moral compass. I'm setting that for myself, which in turn is me building my own religion that works for me, and hopefully a religion that my family can adopt when I have a family, and that we can live by, because we all have unique experiences, right? So rather than me relying on a religion or a book, you know, the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, rather than me relying on those, I'm not saying that I'm bigger and better than all these people and that I know more. I'm just saying, like, I'm just taking more accountability. And the stories in the Bible, you know, a lot of these things, they were created by man. So what makes those men any greater than me? You know, what makes those men know what's best for me and mine more than me and mine based on the situation I'm in? I'm just asking questions. Maybe this is coming off as arrogant, naive. I don't know. But either way, I want to ask the questions because these are on my mind. So I'm not afraid of y'all tearing it down or saying that I'm wrong. Maybe I'll be wrong. If I'm wrong, please let me know. I want to grow. Shelly wrote, the country we were talking about before, where the punishment had to be equal to the crime. Eye for an eye. Oh, Shelly. All right. Shelly, thank you for giving the context, because you saw me. I was confused. Yes. So an eye for an eye. That was when I was talking about the 48 laws of power, where the rule was anything that you commit a crime, the punishment has to be at least that crime that you committed. It has to come back to you. So yes, an eye for an eye. Thanks, Shelly. Sometimes I get a little slow up here. My apologies. Justine wrote, shit, I don't even know. I'm over here reading it like Justine wrote, shit, I don't even follow my own mother's footsteps. Whew. Whew. Maybe that's Justine. Maybe this is the reason why more of us, like, if we established our own religions within our own families, you know what it reminds me of? You know how you can have somebody work for you? You can follow somebody else's direction, but when I'm going through it right now, where OG Baywa, so y'all know that's she works with us on the OG team, and we had certain goals that we wanted to achieve. And I was getting ready to put together the plan and everything like that. But instead, I just turned it over to her. I said, yo, put together the plan. Like, you're going to run me. Tell me exactly what you need from me in order to grow this amount of following on YouTube, to grow this amount of following on Instagram, TikTok. You tell me what you need. You create the plan. You tell me exactly what you need for us to get this amount of sponsors, to raise this amount of money from sponsors. You tell me, because when she actually writes it out herself, then she takes more responsibility and accountability for it and actually carrying it out. So if we create our own religion, if we say like, hey, this is the way that I want to live, these are the principles that I want to follow, this is the standard that I want to hold myself to. When we determine it for ourselves, will we have more accountability and actually seeing it through? I don't know. Queez wrote, there is no universal standard. I agree. Mama Lay wrote, I'm not aspiring to be Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No one is trying to be. They literally just trying to move along. Okay. Ashley wrote, shout out to my little sis Ash, by the way. I didn't give her a proper intro into the show. Shout out to my little sis. Ashley wrote, God is in control. He is the creator. As humans, we will never allow anybody to destroy what we created. For instance, how a mother feels about her child. So if God is the creator, Ash, I got to ask you, if God is in control, then why would God decide to flood the planet rather than just to change the mindset of the people that are there? Like, if God is truly in control, then why would God not take accountability and responsibility for the evil that you're saying that God created, because you're saying that God is in control? So if God is in control, that goes back to the example that I was using with the whole mob, where it's like, if I'm in control of this gang and I'm telling people and forcing people to do certain things, then how can I then say, oh, well, I'm going to punish y'all for doing the things that I told you to do? If God is in control, just asking. Ant wrote, did God ever proclaim to be a leader, or did he give us free will and places a part of him in all of us to discern? Personally, I believe that the definition of free will, that means that we are in control. So I don't believe that. See, to me, I look at God differently than most people. I don't believe that God is just this powerful being in the sky controlling things or setting the tone. I think that God is our connection to each other. I think that God is also defined as the highest of standards in all aspects of life. Or when you say that that's godly, when you say that all these different things, when you say that CP3, Chris Paul, is the point guard, like you're saying that, oh, he's the highest standard for point guard. So whether we use it casually or whether we're using it in a true religious context, God, to me, God is just the connection. God is our connection to each other. That's how I see it. It's because I'll be totally honest, because this is the thing that I've always questioned when it came to religion. Ash, and maybe you can give me your feedback. If God is truly in control, then why are you not fixing this stuff? Why are you allowing some of this stuff to happen? I don't want to hear that free will stuff. I'll be totally honest. If I'm in control of my family, let's say that I'm in a leadership role in my family, there's certain things that I may allow my kids to go through so that therefore they can learn on their own. But there's also certain things that I'm not going to tolerate, because I know that I am in control of the situation. I'm never going to allow things to get to a certain point. Now, whatever my point is, and I'm speaking from somebody that doesn't have kids, so even from a team standpoint, whatever, if I'm in control of a situation, then I'm only going to allow that situation to reach a certain point until I eventually say, like, hold up. Nah, we stopping this right here. And that point for me would be a bit before I say, I'm just going to flood the planet. That's just my perspective. That's just me, though. Justine wrote, but it's the household, a woman's mindset that's not quite completely organized, you know. Okay. Okay. Ashley wrote, we all do what we believe is right for us. So if we all do what we believe is right for us, how is God really in control? It seems like God gave us the keys. So if God gave us the keys to drive the whip, then we're driving the whip. We're the ones that decide to get behind the car, speed, or drink, and then get behind the wheel. That's just on us. So is God in control by releasing control? Or is God in control by having, you get what I'm saying? So maybe I'm not saying it 100% I'm like 7 minutes behind. All right, let me catch up with a lot of oh my God. All right, let me catch up with these comments real quick. But people choose wrong like dads and a lot of men. Hold up, Justine. What we talking about? What we talking about? I just want to make sure. And they show little boys how to be worse, and the boys probably chose lust. Anywho, okay, I think I see where you're going. We know what's right and wrong. You could feel it. That is a fact. Cuzzo, that is a spiritual connection that I think, and this is what I meant earlier when I say when we associate rules with everything. When we say, oh, I don't want to do this because it breaks the law. When I think in my mind, is this right or wrong? And I say, well, it's right or wrong based on the law. The laws can change based on where I am. So this is right. This is right if I'm in Florida, but it's wrong if I'm in New York. How does that, you know what I'm saying? Like, how does that make sense? So going back to your point, we know deep down, and we know. And when we always associate right and wrong with laws, then to me, it takes away from our spiritual connection of just knowing what's right and wrong. There's that feeling that we get in our stomach. I don't know. Some of y'all may feel it through your third eye. You may get pressure in the back of your head when you're we know our bodies, bro. We are superb beings. Going back to what Cat Williams said, I really believe that inherently we just know what's right and what's wrong. We know. Without a test, there's no testimony. Okay, Mama Lay. He said, take your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah and offer him there as a burnt offering upon one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. Bear's pushing buttons this morning. He know. Ruthless. I mean, if it wasn't God saying it, and if it was somebody else saying it, how would we describe it? Justine wrote, that's why you have to believe in your heart. I agree. Bez wrote, God telling folk to burn their son as an offering. This the Negro y'all claim is the highest of highs. Blasphemy. A lot of people may be offended by what Bez just said. And the problem with being offended, or maybe I'll take it a step before that, I don't think we should ever believe in something to the point where we can't question it. That's when things get dangerous. When we believe in something so much to where we can't question it. I think that if we know something is a certain way, then we should have absolutely no problem questioning it. We know it's the truth. When you know something, I'm not worried about you questioning it. I know. Matt, you ever been in class and you know the answer? When you're in class and you know the answer, you can't wait for the teacher to call on you. Let's say you were the kid that you didn't you never had the answer, you never did the reading, and then you for that night you did your homework, you actually did the reading, you came prepared, you on point. You can't wait for the teacher to call on you compared to the nights that you didn't do your homework, you didn't do the reading, you're not prepared, and you're sitting there like, don't call on me. You have no problem being questioned when you know the answer. We only have a problem questioning things that we think or that we believe because we feel like you got to defend something so much that you can't prove. Because you can't prove it, you have to go so hard defending it. Compared to something that you know you could prove, you don't care if somebody says something that you know. Yeah, somebody call you broke and you know you got it. You only care if somebody call you broke when you actually broke. You only care if somebody call you broke when you know you're broke. I've been there. Ew, it gets real uncomfortable. Y'all think otherwise? Like, y'all ain't never been there? Y'all, yeah. God telling folk to burn their son as an offering. This the Negro y'all claim is the highest of highs. Take away the emotion, take away your connection with your religion, and really ask yourself really think about what Bez is saying. Ant just sat here and said that he would justify killing somebody else to save his kids, right? That's the love that we have for our kids. That's the obligation, the duty, the responsibility, the provision and protection that we should have for our children, right? To the point where if they're in harm, I should be able to inflict harm on anybody else that is potentially a threat to harming my children. If that's the case, Ant, how do you feel about God telling folk to burn their son as an offering? What would you do if God told you that? I'm just asking. Ant wrote, delegating is good leadership. Shelly, my fault. Shelly sent the praying hands. Justine wrote, see why you people have to move organically when y'all protest, like pop out with them emails and computers and big iPads. I feel like you're going somewhere, but I'm not sure exactly where, Justine. But keep give me a little bit more context, because y'all know I'm about 8 minutes behind, so I'm probably reading these things out of context. So my apologies. He gives us free will to make decisions. So Ashley, if he gives us free will, are you who's in control? Let me ask you this. If there's parents that got charged with, it was a recent thing where one of the kids that shot up one of these schools or something like that, the parents got charged because the parents were responsible for the child. And I think that they even helped the kid get the gun or whatever. So if God gives you the keys, if I give my kid keys to drive and I know that my kid is not a good driver, I know that my kid had a couple drinks, and I still give my kid keys to drive because I had a lot more drinks, then I would still feel like I'm responsible if something happened with my kid driving that vehicle. So a lot of us like to throw around free will. Free will, okay, free will. That's God giving you power. That's God giving you the ability, just like that can be empowering. We have the free will to accomplish all these amazing things that we can accomplish, right? And we say that was, I know a lot of people like to get up there and say, oh, God, thank God and all this other stuff, but you still have to do the work, right? You're still ultimately responsible for getting it done or not getting it done. So it's still in your control. You still make the decisions. The person that makes the decisions is ultimately in control. So if I give you this key to make a decision, if I give you the power to make the decision, I'm taking the power that I have in control and I'm giving it to you, right? So who's now in control? I'm just asking. Justine wrote, to choose love and not lust. Okay. I agree. We definitely got to two totally different things, and they can send us in two totally different directions, love and lust. But clearly grown-ups are the cowards, not my dad who left back to jail. Okay, but clearly grown-ups are the cowards, not my dad who left back to jail. Okay. All right, I hear you, Justine. Bez wrote, how can God be in control if he gives free will? That's my point. That's what I'm saying. That's my point. How can God be in control if he gives free will? I know it sounds good to say. I know it takes a little bit of responsibility and accountability off of us when we can say God's in control. But in all actuality, is he really? Or did he give us the control and make us the ultimate beings? I just want to move that to the side a little bit. I'm just asking. So Ashley wrote, every decision we make has consequences. Yes, God is the connection. Okay, I'm with you on that. There is evil in the world, and we cannot really control another's mindset, but we can each control our own mindset, right? So that's personal responsibility. So that personal responsibility is us being in control. And let me ask you this, Ashley, if God is the one that can control our mindset, then instead of flooding the planet, why didn't God just change our mindset? Why didn't God just change our mindset so that we wouldn't have all this corruption and all this filth and all this evil? Evilness is evil, or all these evil tendencies. Why didn't we? Why not? I'm just wondering. Justine wrote 100% releasing. All right, Justine, we here for that. We here for that. You could release, everything that you want to get off your chest. No problem at all. We here for that. This is a safe space. Ashley wrote, we do what's right for us and not thinking community. I think the purpose was to work as a community, but most have a selfish mindset. I'm right there with you on that. I agree. That's why Ant wrote, that's why I say pay attention to your spirit. We all know what's right or wrong. We know if we're good or bad based upon how we treat ourselves and others. 100% agree. Omniscient, omnipotent, it's all in the plan. Good, bad, or indifferent, there's a plan. All right. I'm with you, Cuzzo. You know that. Bez, he didn't let him kill his son. All right. Yeah, y'all having the scripture battles. We got the battle of the scriptures. The universe is meant to work together. The universe that God created, everything does work together. Like we have to accept that as the truth. Everything is connected in this world. We are in a bubble where everything is connected. Justine wrote, I was the type of kid whenever the times tables came up and I had to learn this 6 song. Oh, okay. All right. So you had to, a lot of us incorporated music into learning our times tables. God would never tell me that. Hold on. So I think Ant's responding to what I said. If God said to sacrifice your son, would you do it? All right. God would never tell you that. I'm just saying. iRock wrote, I love what you said. God is our connection to each other. Shout out to you, iRock. What if I told you that love for your kid is a chemical reaction to ensure humanity continues to live on? I like that. I'm with that. I can't speak because I don't have a child, but I can only imagine, and I'm going to take heed to what y'all are saying, the people that do have children. Ashley wrote, that's 2 people making the wrong decision, knowing the consequences. Yeah, 2 people making the wrong decision, knowing the consequences. But that's what free will is. That's what control is, right? So who's really in control? Who's really in control? This reminds me, you know what this reminds me of? That Oprah video that I put up with y'all, where Oprah was sitting there talking to the doctor, trying to encourage us all to jump on this whole Ozempic thing and Mounjaro, whatever they're called. And the doctor said, people think that weight is in our control, and it's not. Our weight is not in our control. It's in our brain's control. It's like, what? Like, isn't that our control? Like, isn't that our responsibility? So I don't know. Guys, where does it say God is in control in the Bible? I ain't say God is in control. I didn't say God is in control. Ash, I think that one's for you. How we live our life is the test. I agree. Your spirit is your flesh. All right, I love it. Your spirit is your flesh. Or is our spirit the opposite of our flesh? Justine, is our spirit our flesh, or is our spirit the opposite of our flesh? Is our flesh just more our animalistic stuff? Our spirit, to me, is well beyond our flesh, because does our spirit die when our flesh is in the ground buried? Or if we get cremated, does our spirit die? I don't know. Some people may be walking around with, you see some people walking around like they got the flesh part, but look like they ain't got, the spirit is just gone. I don't know. We have to learn to live amongst good and evil. Forcing people to change their mindset is not giving free will. Ash, I understand forcing people to change their mindset is not giving free will. But when your kids are walking out in the middle of the street and about to get hit by a car, you're going to force them, right? Use your force to save them from getting hit by a car. So that's using the control and force that you have. So if you're saying that God is in control, instead of God making the decision to flood the planet to solve a problem, wouldn't it be best for him to maybe grab the kids from preventing them from getting hit by a car in the street? Just wondering. Justine wrote, accept that. Queez wrote, but we also may justify doing wrong. Some people have that chemical then. The flesh is a container for your true self. That's how I look at it more. Like I look at flesh being a bit different. But to each their own. To each their own. All right, yo, can we Lana in the building? Shout out to Lana. I'm amped, Lana, and then come on down to Miami, Lana. Oh man, I can't wait to share the news. I can't wait to share the news with everybody. Y'all know I am a matter of fact, Florida, y'all need to hit me up. I need some type of commission because I recruit people down to Florida. So that's like a sales position because now people are coming to Florida. People are going to contribute to the taxes in Florida, contribute to the economy in Florida. I need a check. But yeah, we good. We good. All right. So let's look at some funny videos. Can we just go through some funny videos and get y'all thoughts? And they're all not funny. By funny, I don't really mean funny, but let's go through some of these different videos that I wanted to show y'all. We didn't get through anything, but this is all right. So do I want to play this video? All right. So there's the FAA administrator, Biden's FAA administrator. Man. So a lot of the talk has been on Trump. Everybody's trying to call him racist, saying that he's blaming DEI for the flight crash in DC, where it was the helicopter flying into the plane. People are coming out saying that the pilot for the helicopter, I believe, was a transgender, I believe born man, transitioned into a woman. So there's a lot of, maybe Trump did say it. I didn't hear Trump say that and blame it on DEI. I didn't hear that. Maybe he did. I don't know. But there's a couple different clips that I want to share with y'all. And I'm not going to sit here and say that
right mind
DEI is the reason for a lot of these things. But I do believe that when people are forced or encouraged and incentivized to hire based on DEI, that we're not getting our most capable, most talented, and most talented individuals to be in positions that it is important for us to have our best in. So let me actually do this. So it says Ted Cruz questions Biden's nominee for FAA administrator. And I had to do this yesterday, but I just want to Google what exactly the FAA administrator, the acronym. I wanted to make sure that I have it correct. The FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration. So this is the head of the Federal Aviation Administration. So keep this in mind. The administrator for the Federal Aviation Administration. You would think that this person would know about flying, would potentially have flown to know about something like, and I don't know. Is this the argument between can a coach and who's never played the game, or does the best person have the perspective that actually I don't know. But just listen to this. It does sound a little crazy. Y'all tell me, what are y'all thoughts? Maybe I'm off on it. All right, we up? All right, let's go.
You ever flown a plane?
Thank you for the question, Senator. No, I have never flown a plane.
So you weren't a military pilot or a commercial airline pilot?
No, Senator.
So this was in 2023, and this is who Biden appointed for this position. So let me run it back again.
You ever flown a plane?
Thank you for the question, Senator. No, I have never flown a plane.
So you weren't a military pilot or a commercial airline pilot?
No, Senator.
Have you ever worked for an airline?
No, Senator.
Have you ever worked as an air traffic controller?
No, Senator.
You ever worked for a company that manufactures airplanes?
No, Senator.
You ever worked for a company that fixes airplanes?
No, Senator.
FAA administrator is a specialized position. I'm not qualified to be FAA administrator. I have no idea how to fly a plane. No one in their right mind would put me in charge of aviation safety because I don't have that experience. I suspect most of the members of this committee are in a similar position. the American people, when they think about aviation safety, when they think about, I played in this committee, a Southwest Airlines and FedEx plane almost colliding at Austin's airport. They want an FAA administrator who knows why those planes crash and knows how to fix it to keep them safe. And with all respect, Mr. Washington, it gives no comfort to the flying public that their pilot might be a transgendered witch, but doesn't actually know how to prevent the plane from crashing into the ground and killing them. I believe your record is woefully lacking. And in fact, you have zero aviation safety experience.
All right, I'll be honest. I don't know where the trans came in that conversation. That kind of got thrown out of left field, unless there was some other context or unless that was maybe I missed something. But just from that standpoint, I think we have to exercise a certain level of common sense where we can understand, and maybe we had this conversation the other day in a group chat. There's going to be pros and cons of everything. We understand that we want more diversity. We understand that we want inclusive environments. We understand that people want equity. We understand all of these things. But do we get to a point, and maybe this is just a question, do we get to a point where we realize that maybe this is, even if it has a good intent, even if the intentions are solid, to do something that we all would deem as a morally righteous thing, we got to also look at the results when it goes a little bit out of hand. And I don't know exactly about flight aviation, but I would imagine that if I was a pilot, that I would want somebody in that position that is leading us to actually have that experience. I don't know. And, I think about it. I'm relating it to sports. Not every coach played at a high level. I think most coaches played. But to me, it's just very hard. It's like, how can I be the boxing commissioner if I've never boxed? You know what I mean? Like, I can understand from I can implement certain things from a business perspective, maybe, or things outside, but to actually know what's best for the boxer, I can't really tell you that because I've never been a boxer. So I don't really know what a boxer goes through. So I don't know. Maybe y'all see it a little different than me. This is just kind of like my thought on it. Alana wrote, let me catch up with the comments. Alana wrote, I can't wait. Ursi laughing. Ron owes you some money. He owes me some bread. Y'all have big time hurricanes. I'm out on Florida. All right. So Ben wrote, shout out to Ben in the building. We got a lot of new people tapping in. Make sure that y'all like, and subscribe. Ben wrote, the air traffic controller was doing more than just his job during the crash, which is not good. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. The air traffic controller was doing more than just his job. That doesn't sound good. Cousin wrote, controllers have extremely high suicide rate. Their job is high stress. Wow. Yeah, I can imagine. But it's something that I've never really even thought about. I'll be totally honest. Urs wrote, last TSA checkpoint I went through was lousy as hell. I don't know how we allow this mess. Yeah, I accidentally, yeah. I'm with you, Urs. Only Zeus 13 wrote, hey man, I'm just asking respectfully, if you need a video editor to edit your stream and or podcast and turn it into content that can be posted on your social media, thanks, no hate. P.S. I can send all my sample work if you want. Yeah, send it through. Send it to bigfishpodcasttv@gmail.com. If you down to help out the product of what we're delivering to the people, I'm with it. Uncle Brother wrote, didn't you just share a video earlier in the week where the sister was saying that white women have been the biggest beneficiaries of DEI, though? Was that just, excuse me, fake news? Do the research. Let me ask you this, Uncle Brother. Do you disagree with what she's saying? Because I thought that was like, I've heard multiple people say that. Matter of fact, I've heard multiple people that are with the blackity black community. Matter of fact, hold up, Uncle Brother. Now that you say that, I just so happen to have a video queued up. I just so happen to have a video queued up of the blackety blacks of them all, Dr. Umar Johnson, Mr. No Snow Bunny, Mr. Y'all know Mr. I'm growing my school, yeah, all that. So if you're familiar with Dr. Umar, you know that Dr. Umar is I joke around when I say blackety blacks, but he's one of these he's a Pan-Africanist. He's only doing stuff when it comes, like his main focus is black people. His main focus is black people. And it's even funny, even if I go to the beginning of this video that I'm getting ready to share with y'all, he's talking to a young lady, and the young lady's friend, who is, a matter of fact, let's just show the tape. Let's just show the tape. Dak, stop talking. You talk too much, bro. You talk too much. All right, let me
see a snow bunny on Dr. Umar's live. What?
Listen to this exchange. Uncle brother, this one's for you.
Targeted for diversity and inclusion. And so, yeah.
Okay.
And look, I feel my Nigerian friend and my Haitian friend. And I
okay, we got the Haitian sister. We got, okay, now who's that? Who's that?
Chelsea Boroff.
Okay.
Donald Trump removing for what's it called?
The diversity and inclusion.
Yeah, in admissions. I think it's stupid. I think that students historically, Black students especially, are going to be put down from the beginning. And even if you account for economic factors such as like being low income or stuff like that, like there's still the social pressure that they face, which can't be accounted for by admission factors. So I think that race should always be a factor in admissions because colleges need to be putting up those students.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that, young lady.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Okay.
All right, so let me stop it for a second. This is what I mean by even when it has good intent. You don't know how many conversations I've had with white liberal Democrats that really believe when they're talking to me that they're arguing with me why black people need DEI, why black people need help. They're literally arguing with me, telling me what black people need. I've had multiple conversations like this, and they don't even realize that, like, even though their intent may be good, they don't even realize that. Think back to what Cat Williams started off talking about on Theo Von. When Theo Von asked him, he said, have you ever thought about being born a different race? And Cat Williams said, like, nah. Like, when you're born black, this is what Cat Williams said. He said, I was born black. When you're born black, you just know that you're a superb being. That's what Cat Williams said. So you may or may not disagree with that. I think everybody should feel that they're a superb being, whatever, you know, it is what it is. If you feel that, you know, I think everybody should feel highly of themselves, not that you're better than somebody else in whatever way. I don't think to each their own. You should be confident, put it that way. But when I have these conversations with these white liberals, they're telling me what we need. We need more assistance. They're looking. So the intent may be good, but the focus on the results is never there. They can never see, or I shouldn't say that they can never. It actually came up in the podcast that I was doing with my big bro, Pete DeNoble, the other day, where it's like people don't realize that just because something has good intent doesn't mean that the results of it are actually solving a particular problem. And people tend to not be focused on the result of things, but just the emotional connection to the intent. And I think that's where we fall short in a lot of ways. But let's keep listening to the combo. And yeah, shout out to Uncle Brother for the segue.
I need somebody to play my Undertaker music real quick.
And that's not my internet. That's Dr. Umar's. It is what it is. I know that the voice is not matching the sound, but bear with it. Y'all be all right.
Can you come to Boston?
Yeah, come to Boston College.
I spoke at University of Massachusetts last.
All right, I'm gonna fast forward. Hold on. I'm gonna fast forward a sec because I want to get to they went off the camera, and then I want to get to the conversation where he's talking specifically about DEI.
Queen, brothers and sisters, can somebody play my Undertaker music? We had a snow bunny invade the live, and my African sisters brought the bunny on the live. But much respect to the young lady. She spoke very well. Much respect to her. We don't practice hate. We just practice race pride. Who's tapping in? Soccer mom going twice. Soccer mom going 3 times.
Wow. Hold on. I just peeped this. So I heard the conversation that he's getting ready to have, but I told you I skimmed through a lot of this stuff and I was focused more on the DEI part. But I just peeped that Dr. Umar is doing a live. So he's saying soccer mom going once, soccer mom going twice. He invited somebody into the live that had a profile named Soccer Mom. And this is who pops up on the camera.
Soccer mom going twice. Soccer mom going 3 times.
Piece of Pan-Africanism.
Peace, good brother. Why is your Instagram name Soccer Mom? What's going on with that?
I'll give you the real lore. So originally I was chakra man, like the chakras.
Yes, sir.
But a buddy of mine thought it was funny because chakra sounded like soccer. So he was like, oh, soccer man. And then I kind of was like, it does sound funny, a little catchy. And it's also, when you think about the soccer ball, it's a cube, it's divine, the divine shape of the 6 sides, which also represents the carbon, which represents the black. And then the mom is the divine feminine versus the me, J-Bo, being the divine masculine. So putting those 2 together make the divine construct of soccer mom, J-Bo. But regardless of that.
Okay, but wait, stay with me. I follow you. Okay, so is it soccer mom or soccer man?
It's soccer mom.
But are you okay with that soccer mom moniker?
Correct.
As a
yes.
man?
Because, and as a man, right, I embody and encompass both the male and the physical as a man. We all do as humans. But whether which one is more stronger or more prevalent, you can see a strong grown man who looks like a very strong masculine man, but also be very feminine and soft. Or you can see a very soft man.
But let me
go ahead.
Okay, okay, but here's where I agree to disagree. You're right. But when we talk about every human being having masculine energy and feminine energy, we're not talking about every human being having masculine sexuality and feminine sexuality. I think sometimes we get confused between feminine energy and feminine sexuality. So for example, being passive, being peaceful, those are considered feminine traits, right? Being aggressive, being assertive, those are considered masculine traits. So we're talking about masculine characteristics, feminine characteristics, not to be confused with masculine sexuality or feminine sexuality. In other words, every human being is either a male or a female.
Correct.
So when you say soccer mom as a black man, I'm a little conflicted
right
as to why
no, I get
you're
it.
comfortable
Do
being
you?
called mom when you are a man.
Right. And it would make more sense to be soccer dad, right?
Yes.
J-Bo would make more sense,
you're a
right?
man.
But I didn't change it, and I kind of just had it as that, and
I mean, it's your
but I definitely
decision,
understand.
but I just want you to think
No.
about that, brother. 'Cause,
I definitely, I
there's
definitely
an
understand.
agenda to effeminize the black male.
Absolutely.
And for you to have an IG name of soccer mom as a black man, I don't like the energy it sends to our boys. I mean, you know what it means for you.
Understandable.
But for black boys who look up to you, work with you, know you, that can be sending the wrong message.
Cool.
Because we as African people, we don't come from a gender neutral culture. Our culture is very much decided as to who is a man and who is a woman. Like African people, we don't do the neutral gender. We are not a gender neutral people.
No.
We have black men and we have black women.
Exactly.
So I just want you to think on that a little bit, my brother.
No, absolutely.
Okay. Now,
And
what is
we can
your
definitely talk about
opinion?
that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Now let's
So
get
I
into the
definitely-
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Talk to me about your opinion on, Snoop and Nelly being hammered for performing at the inauguration. Donald Trump signing away Black History Month as if it ever did anything for us anyway.
And hold on. This is what I need y'all to hear right here. Right here.
Donald Trump signing away Black History Month as if it ever did anything for us anyway. And then, of course, DEI, which Obama created for the LGBT. Not to say they shouldn't have their rights, but that wasn't something done for Black people. But once again, we're crashing out over things that either did not benefit us or were not designed for us. What is your opinion?
Can I just stop it right there? This is the conversation that I will go back and forth with people on. I'm not the blackity black. Used to be, not that anymore. Dr. Umar and I see this exactly the same. We are crashing out over something that was never truly intended to benefit us, doesn't benefit us. It benefits us far down the line. We just played the video the other day where it's white women, where it's gay white men, it's the rest of the LGBTQ community. It's, I think, Asians in there. It's people with disabilities. It's like, I think they had black people number 7, but black people are always at the forefront with Al Sharpton running to Costco because Costco's deciding to keep their DEI programs. Why didn't we see a line of disabled people going over there? Why didn't we see a line of gay people going over there? Why didn't we see a line of white women going over there and supporting it? Because this is the same thing that happens all the time. Black people are so in love with symbolism, that we never actually look at the results. So emotionally connected with intent that we never actually look at the results. Just look at the result. This Dr. Umar, this y'all leader. This y'all leader. He's saying the same thing. But what ends up happening? We'll see an example like what we just saw with the FAA appointee, and then sometimes we'll think like, oh yeah, this is for us. This is for us because we see somebody in that position. But let's hear what the brother, how he responded.
Either did not benefit us or were not designed for us. What is your opinion?
Yes, I absolutely agree. And for those two, like you said, Kamala and Biden, they didn't do nothing for black people. So why are y'all still championing behind these Megan Thee Stallions and Glorrillas for performing for their DNCs, right?
Absolutely.
You have all these black celebrity sellouts who are telling you as a black person, you ain't black unless you signed your allegiance to this, right? And both of those parties, Republican and Democrat, are both sides of the same coin.
Absolutely.
They don't have the black interests at heart, and they never really had. But if you look at, for Reconstruction era, there were blacks that were there trying to infiltrate and push our agenda into the masses. So that's why when we had our first black congressmen who were Republicans, right? But all that's changed. The Dixiecrats came in and completely did psyops to destroy the black people from having a say or having the motivation to try to become mayors of their sound, to be on the city council, the school boards, and all those things, to actually enact the change that they want to see in their communities, right?
Yes.
All right, y'all get the point. I didn't realize it's already 10:10. We're gonna have an abrupt stop here. We're gonna have a hard stop. I feel like we didn't get to any videos today, but we had an amazing conversation. So we always prioritize that over everything else. We may not get to all the videos. I always got them on deck just in case y'all are not tapped in, y'all ain't responding in the group, and we could just go through. So I'm always going to have content on deck for us to review, create conversations, meaningful conversations around. But I think we had a very meaningful conversation today. Hopefully we gave people some things to think about. And like we said, just a reminder, let me speak for myself first and foremost. And Queen's funny because Bess wanted to talk about God. Yo, this is the thing. And Queens, I got to take some accountability and responsibility as well, right? Because you already know, man. You already know how. Bez, y'all know. All y'all got to do is give me an inch, and I'm going to take a mile when it comes to some of these conversations. Shout out to you, Ben. Shout out to you, Ben, because I'm glad that you found the channel as well. So these are what our conversations are focused on. And since you are new, what we finish out every show with is 45 seconds of manifesting, breath work, being silent, completely clearing your mind, or manifesting and focusing on something that you want or that you need to focus on, looking for some clarity, looking for some answers, whatever it is, to put ourselves in the best mindset of when we finish up this show in order to accomplish what we set out in the beginning of the week to accomplish, which was making this our greatest week ever. So every week we set out to make it our greatest week ever. Friday is always a dope day because that's when we get to check the scoreboard. That's when we get to check the scoreboard and look at ourselves in the mirror and say, did I win this week or did I lose this week? Did I accomplish my goal of making this the greatest week ever or did I fail? Point blank, period. No gray area, black or white. Did I win or did I lose? No ties when it comes to this stuff. All right. So let's take 45 seconds. If you're in a safe place, close your eyes. Like I said, give yourself whatever you need. Every breath in, we're breathing in positive energy and we're releasing anything negative, anything that may have a hold on us that's preventing us from becoming who we need to become and accomplishing our goals. So with that, we got 45 seconds. Hold on real quick. Ashley laughing. Ashley, this guy always want to stir the pot. All right, so 45 seconds. And this is the thing, yo. I'm glad that Ash, you just wrote that because this is what's so dope about it. Who can have these convos and us still be smiling afterwards, us still be, not the rest of our day ruined. We can talk about anything. We can talk about religion. We can talk about politics. We can talk about the culture. We can talk about whatever and just give our thoughts and not be attacked and have this kind of safe space, this safe environment to share our thoughts and perspectives. So hopefully that we all can grow because obviously that's the whole purpose of us doing this in the first place. So 45 seconds starting now. If you're in a safe place, close your eyes, be one, feel the energy. All right. Feel the energy. Ready, go. All right, last breath, breathing in positive, exhaling negative. And Queez wrote, that's my brother, though. You already. Yo, I can't even front. So as I was doing my 45 seconds, the thing that came to mind was, even if you don't see yourself as a God, be the God of your own individual life. And that means control the controllables. Control the things that you can control in your life. We control our decisions. That's one thing that is in our control, nobody else's. So even if we're not the God of the universe, even if we're not the God that controls everything, one thing that we can do, and I think that we all agree on, is that we all have this free will that Ashley was talking about, and that a lot of people touched on, which is we can be in control of us. So maybe you may not see yourself as a God, cool. You may not see yourself as a superb being. You may not have the most confidence. Just be your own individual God of your life. Is that too much to ask? So hopefully not. But once again, y'all know what we're here to do. Elevate, both from an intentional standpoint. When I say elevate on purpose, to become the best leaders that we can become, because our community, our village, our tribe needs them now more than ever. And in order to accomplish the things that we need to accomplish, let's raise those standards. Let's raise those standards so we can become and grow into the people that we need to continuously accomplish the goals that we are striving for, but to also have the confidence to set out to accomplish even bigger goals that impact the world in a better place and in a positive place. So that's the goal of it. That's the goal of it. Strength and honor, onward and upward. Y'all know what we mean when we say get to that bag. Get into that bag is the things that we're collecting along the way as we make sure that we're aligned with achieving that goal of purposeful abundance. What's in your bag is in your bag. What's in my bag, my focus, peace, love, happiness, and of course, health, wealth, and in everything that we do, integrity. Ant said, have a good weekend, good people. Ashley said, thanks for building a safe community to grow. Love you, bro. Love you, sis. Love you more. Love you more. And love the rest of y'all as well. Ben wrote, I'm in need of good community fellowship and just good people in my life. Hey, Ben, do me a favor. Follow us at the OG Network on Instagram. If you have Instagram, that'll allow us to stay in touch and at least, allow you to be around that energy. And hopefully we can continue to build more of this community and fellowship. Yes, Mama Lay said, thanks for joining, Ben. Ben, this is a community. This is a community. And we all have, we may have different thoughts and strategies on accomplishing certain things, but we all just want to leave the world in a better place than we inherited. So that's the goal. Uncle Brother, you already know. Gang, gang. Mama Lay, I'll see you soon. Iceberg Quiz sent the fire emojis. Y'all have an amazing weekend. Be confident. Have grace. Make mistakes. Hold yourself accountable. Be the God in your life. Be the God of your life. That's where I'll leave it. With that, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.